I do like the clockwork pick you're mentioning, but right now, honestly, I wouldn't mind saying the DP offlane versus a Wraith King, Wraith King Jakiro, Wraith King Dark Willow lane. It's not bad, honestly. Kind of win that lane because he's a melee core. Doesn't have much mobility, only carries a stun, but you have a lot of damage for the high HP heroes.
I don't think, like, the trouble is Spirit Siphon's like 50-second cooldown or something, level 1. Wraith King has like a, what, 10-second cooldown stun? 8-second Wraithfire Blast cooldown? Whatever, it's insane. So I think you just get outdone.
Your hero.
Oh. Actually, that's a Tinker counter that also... I mean, it's not like traditional because that's a new Tinker counter, I guess, with the Change Your Dark Ascension. But I would say he's pretty strong against him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, most certainly. I mean, the AoE silence means that Tinker can potentially struggle to get that rearm blink off. That's a nice pick. I actually like that more than the clockwork because he's going to be much better with that Omni Knight in the mid game, having that Heavenly Grace on him. Also more difficult to kill in lane.
I like that more than my complex lane swapping into the Storm pick.
I used to think about Dota Draft. Sometimes it just is Occam's razor, you know?
It is.
Think about the simplest thing. If you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras.
Unless you're, you know, not European. I mean, I think that's a very racist statement, actually. Some people really should think zebra. It depends on where you live, right?
I mean, I'm in Germany right now, so I'm talking from my own perspective.
So you think hoofbeats, you think football fans, right? That's the German way.
Animals. Football fans. Jesus.
Chaos Esports Club, I think this Night Stalker completes their draft very nicely. Cancels the Tinker, stops the Pangolier as well, because you can actually stop his... It's really easy to silence him mid Rolling Thunder animation, right? Void cancels it as well. He's a Space Creator thing. He combines really nicely with the Omni Knight. What can I say? I like him. I think that...
Yeah, I really like the Chaos draft here. Tinker is a hero I used to play a lot of, and I struggle to see his place in matches nowadays. He's not really the objective taker. You know, he pushes out lanes very nicely, but he absorbs a lot of farm from your team, which, you know, can lead to some struggles, especially if you're position 3. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of line symmetrical takes here. Whether it's going to be that reasonably early Cypher Vice after like an Ether Lens to lock down heroes like DP and Morphling. That could be incredibly handy. Or if he goes with the damage route with items like Aghanims, Dagon, try and burst people down before they get their spells off. We'll find out. Symmetrical, UK Dota's last hope on the Tinker. Pablo, Pexu, Yonasafan, and Radjix leading the smoke charge up into the Radiant jungle, but Matuma Man has popped it, spotted them, walks away, and it looks like he's fast enough to make it the escape down to the southwest.
I don't know.
Oh.
Bramble Maze, ooh, Matumba. Getting out of the Bramble Maze. Everyone says Symmetrical is UK Dota's last hope, but I think he's the first hope. He's opening the floodgate for all the UK players to finally come in lane. And
no, we've had a couple of them.
Who else? Rhyme?
Bisa, Rhyme. I mean...
Oh, Bisa, yeah, I forgot.
T-Governor. I mean, are we talking about just players here?
Well, I guess you would count coaches as well.
Because I mean, BLR used to play with Funzy and Seb and stuff.
Yeah.
He played on one of the French squads. He was UK Dota's first hope.
So we are reaching the last hope then territory. Okay.
Yeah. Like he's super young. He's definitely one of these rising stars.
I'm loving seeing all these rising stars. Him, VT Faded, 23 Savage and SEA, like all these new players coming in. In fact, the whole of Infamous in South America. You need some new blood in Dota.
I certainly do. So Matuma Man against Symmetrical, DP against Tinker. Should be an interesting matchup. Pablo with a deep ward between tier 1, tier 2 mid is looking for that courier snipe, but I think Chaos here will realize that no one else showing on the map. You know, Pango Jakiro bot showing, Wraith King is alone, and Omni Knight's kind of hunting and scouting, so they know Willow is missing, so that courier will not be sniped out today.
Yeah, they're wise. Pablo always, I mean, you've seen him try this a couple of games as well. I think they know. Pablo likes that courier snipe. Well, the Dark Willow especially has a fair amount of range with him. And really nice movement speed, good attack speed as well. Even if it got nerfed, he's a hero that can put a bit of harassment in lane. So he is nice at sniping that courier. Nice and help out Johnson Fan. Interestingly enough, they're actually running a offensive tri-lane. Letting the Wraith King deal with Night Stalker alone. I don't know if that benefits either team, to be honest. Like, Chaos is happy running Night Stalker against Wraith King as well, just so he can get some early levels.
Yeah, I think it feels better for the Dire team, just the fact that if Omni comes bot to make it try, he doesn't add too much value, whereas having 3v2 bot pressures Milan and Faded really heavily, gives Jonas and Fan free farm, and I think Wraith King's okay just to try and sort of trade regen, get as much as he can out of the lane, and Omni Knight is doing a decently good job zoning Radix out for the most part, keep him away from that creep wave as it does reach the tier 1.
You're right, the pressure they put in the bottom lane is definitely worth it, just to stop the morph. Especially in the earlier levels, like... The issue is that usually Omnight likes to rotate once he's around level 3, so he's a bit useful. Well, not if Pexu kills himself. Pexu, careful. The pause. Faded, man. I don't know if his hero just went... I don't know if he just disconnected, that was just auto-attacking. Oh, there's the guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But VT Faded with 2 CS. You can see the difference already, right? Wraith King 7 and 1. VT Faded 2 CS. He's level 2, so the attribute shift isn't...
It's terrible.
Too potent.
It's horrendous. That level 1 is... he does nothing for you.
Is the worst. So he has to level waveform to escape from that, and that's mana expended, that's cooldown expended. Yeah. And they can go again with his double damage still going on Pablo for another 10 seconds.
That's also waveform in the lane, right? When you usually would go for the 0-2-3 build.
Yeah.
And forcing a waveform this early as well. Like, Adaptive Strike is great at getting early last hits when you're still weak as the Morphling, because there's a bit more range in the auto attacks. Have that. And this is what I was mentioning, since the Omnight likes to rotate once you hit around level 3 and you're useful again, once Omnight rotates, Morphling's already having an easier time, because he needs to reach that level 3 before he's a useful.
They might kill Rajik's top. Nice Red Fire Blast to stop Misery getting the easy purification in. Good attempt by Chaos to play onto that Wraith King as he is reasonably low.
You get nothing.
Bottom lane, we're also seeing some aggression. They're considering going for VT Faded and Milan. Now they realize Milan is the easier target. Shadow Shaman, no Hex, only Shackles. You really can't fight this to the death. I think this might be the first blood for them. He's dancing his way to his own grave. One last hit, Jonas on Fun will get that lucky shot as well. And finish off Milan.
Easy pickings down there. And no real counterplay for the Radiant, right? They're trying to go on Wraith King top. He's got Magic Stick, a Wraith Fire Blast. He's going to walk it off. Courier comes in with Salve and Tangos, and now they move Jakiro top. So they're going to have the 2-1-2. They've pressured Morph. They've got First Blood. They can come and defend the Wraith King now and give him some honor and farm up top. Mid lane is just a farm trade for them as well. So Tinker, not being pressured too much, feels pretty comfortable heading into the Boots of Travel very quickly. That primary item.
This also coincides to me with Pango getting the Javelin, which means now you have, or well, once it gets delivered, which means that you have a lot more pressure in this bottom lane, a lot more damage without the need of Jakiro joining in. Let's be honest, Jakiro early on, no Ice Path, right? So it's just damage. So as long as Pango makes up for it, you're fine. You can put it the same amount of pressure. Honestly, Ahan is playing this really well. This laning stage.
Yeah, it's something they've been really good with, right? Is the tri-laning around Yunasam Fan or the Yunasam Fan mid. They are very versatile in where they put their heroes, and they leave themselves open in drafts to do just that. Rajix basically playing the position 3 until Pexu comes up top to give him a little bit of assistance. Night Stalker already with a decent CS lead, though. Oh, wow. Wait, what?
There's that line again. VT Faded bringing it all the way from SCA. I don't understand how he died to a death prophet, if I'm honest with you.
Matu has double null. He didn't go for the bottle, so that's the big difference maker there. Boots were still in the shop. Tinker, or in the courier. Tinker was trying to bring them out to himself, but courier wasn't available. Fortunate. I didn't catch it. Must have just been my Superman walking up, double null, right-click him down with a Spirit Siphon. Quick little Crypt Swarm. Symmetrical, not respecting the DP, and now not respecting the rotation from Milan. TP's come in. Go Power Rangers to try and defend the Tinker. Not quite enough damage to bring him down. The Ghosts finally chase him round the tower as the root connects. The Shadow Shaman's caught. Matoma Man chased down, but the Ghosts still doing a significant chunk of damage, and then they should be returning soon to heal old woman up.
I mean, getting the kill on Tinker already, you're happy with that, you know. If Tinker participates in this kill, he is not gonna get any. He already lost experience war against Matoma Man. Matoma Man got 2 kills, one of them solo, one of them with a bit of help. I mean, he's quite happy with this. Exorcism used a bit early. He might not get the tower with it, but who cares? Even harassing Pablo out of the lane. Chaos might be losing the side lanes, but this mid lane is going in their favor. That's putting some pressure onto Ahin, and they have to leave the Pango alone.
Symmetrical nicely bottle fills up. Pablo grabs an arcane rune. Doesn't lose anything out of that TP to mid. Turns to fighting shape. 31 and 5 CS on Symmetrical. 1500 or so away from the Boots of Travel recipe. It is nighttime now though, so Kezu with the phase boots, double stout shield. Feels very confident that he can stay in this lane 1 versus 3, but also may look to transition mid to try and maybe snag a kill on that Tinker at some point.
Yeah, confidence is nice, but don't overstay your welcome, right? You have to take advantage of this first night, ideally. It's a bit longer, so it's not the same pressure it used to be before when it was 4-minute night and, you know, it's exactly minute 4, and you have to do something. Kezu gets some more time to be impactful. He actually went for 3 points in Hunter Knight, which we're seeing much more often from Night Stalkers nowadays, since you have the Dark Ascension. And I think he's level 6 now, has Dark Ascension ready, still saving the skill point, and he has a need a Silence, or an extra point in Void. See, the Smoke Gang. This is perfect, find Symmetrical, even in the Shrine. Dark Ascension used, Symmetrical, run away, use the laser. He's gonna fight this. He's the rearm for a second laser, has to keep that laser up on Kezu. Yeah, hits him a second time, but the magical damage is already good enough. Laser won't be good enough with the Heavenly Grace as well, helping him out, get the blind off him. 3rd death for Symmetrical this game.
Yeah, Pablo cuts off the advance. Matoma Man was trying to cut through the jungle, and Pablo stops that from happening, but it didn't even matter. Misery and Kezu. And that's the strength of this Night Stalker. Not only can he deal with the Tinker in the mid-game, being able to scout him out in the trees, get that AoE silence going, but that first nighttime, dipping into the jungle when Tinker is still trying to farm towards the Boots of Travel. And you can see this Jakiro, you can see the Jakiro trying to ward and de-ward, but the Observer is much deeper than he expected.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is very deep Observer. That's almost to see a rotational Observer, right? It's a Tinker Observer and a rotational Observer, so you know when the supports are going anywhere. Oh, mid lane. Find the Tinker again. Symmetrical can't keep on dying. Matoma uses Exorcism for this, but here comes the support. The Cavalry, with Rolling Thunder included, they're gonna find Matoma Man, forcing him away. Nice pinball play. Goodbye to Matumba.
Yeah, beautiful from Yasum fan using that ramp absolutely perfectly to catch Matoma Man. And that's Exorcism on cooldown for 2 minutes now. Your tier 1 mid defended. Tinker now potentially just sits back in the jungle and farms on through. I would like to see him go further to the east to the triangle. It's Misery getting blown up by Yunus and Peksu. He gets a D-ward on his way through though. Misery finds the obs, clears it up. But yeah, I think I would like to see the Tinker go to the main triangle. It's a little more defended and more defendable than this northwest jungle with like 20 access points into where the Tinker's hiding.
I agree, especially because you have, what, 1 sentry? You haven't even tried to ward properly this access. Well, actually, no, they have 2 sentries. They tried their best, but honestly, this ward is so deep, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's currently winning Chaos the game. As they can keep playing more aggression. Stop Peksu. Can they stop his TP? Yes, they have the damage. Who needs a stun where you can just murder him? Bottom lane though, here comes the counter aggression by Ahin. I think you can. BT Fit has 4 points now into that attribute shift. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine, but he's still not happy, right? 2,800 net worth. He is lagging behind the rest of the pack. He's got some catching up to do. He's got the Morbid Mask, the 14-1 charges. Jungle is probably going to be his home in the coming minutes. As Bounty Runes spawn, Aachen City going to get both down bottom, but the northern ones, Rajik looks to contest as daytime comes around the corner. Night Stalker and Misery already set up in position to grab the bounties there.
The time.
Tinker is going to go to the safe triangle now. He's 200 gold away from bots. He's got some stacks made up for him. So clearing through this should give him the boots of travel, and then you open up the map for yourself. You've got easy ways to defend these tier 1 towers. Tinker can start playing top lane. He can start spamming March, and then falling back through the jungle to farm up some camps. As long as it isn't nighttime, Symmetrical should be okay.
Yeah. Symmetrical, though, has been... I mean, he has been cancelled a bit, but honestly, being only 800 away from Matoma Man, not that big a deal, right? That could have been just a bad lane as well. with 4 deaths to his name, I'm surprised. He can... 3 deaths, sorry. I'm adding deaths now. But still, 3 deaths is quite a lot. He gets travel boots at, what, minute 10? It's okay. It's not a bad timing, honestly.
Yeah.
You can still recover easily now.
Yeah, 800 gold behind the DP, but you're still hitting your timings. Like, Boots of Travel doesn't have the Soul Ring, but still a reasonably good timing. As long as he's ahead of the Morphling, it's all fine.
Top tower is about to take...
Third exorcism of the game. Matuma Man onto that top lane, looking for the tier 1 with the catapult wave, but here we are. Tinker coming into TP and play to defend your objectives. They've blown up Misery, and they look for additional targets. They terrorize, catching Night Stalker as they roll forward. Look at him, he's in the bloody little hole there. Pangolier somehow gets forward, but not enough to get the kill. Kezu turns with Matumba Man, and a 3x kill streak removed from the hands of the Pangolier.
Pangolier was trying to play pinball, but instead he ended up playing golf. So unfortunate. Stuck in that hole, couldn't do much. Johnson fan did not even mean to do that. It's one of those things where, like, until you don't play Pango forever and that happens to you a couple times, you don't realize exactly where it is. Dota is weird in that sense. Similar with Mars.
That little
difficult.
waterfall spot.
Yeah. This is the like this spot and the same in this area with the lake. I remember the Spectral Dagger and Firefly shenanigans, same with Pangolier. You can get stuck there easily.
Oh, mid-tier 1 claimed by Milan.
Won't last long.
Shadow Shaman gets those Serpent Wars to use. Definitely one of the biggest strengths here for Chaos. DP Exorcism's top, nearly gets the tier 1. Now going for a bit of a commitment on that tower. Shadow Shaman got the tier 1 mid, and the transition by Arcan Esports down to bottom, the mirror movement that we're so used to seeing. They'll pressure the Morph, force the Morph to TP top. VT Faded joins the rest of his team. This is classic maneuvering by both sides. Pressure enemy safe lane, get tier 1s. Move into their jungle, get wards down. Peksu already on the mark with that one.
Dire's top tower.
Start taking control of the Radiant side of the map, because this starts opening things up now for your Wraith King, who has Midas completed. Again, a little bit delayed. Phase boots Midas, 13 minutes in, maybe a minute behind the timing you'd ideally like. But he'll start to accelerate now, as will the Tinker, moving towards Blink Dagger. So it's down to Chaos, it feels like, to ramp up the pressure even faster and harder, right? With their ultis, with their abilities to move down lanes, they need to be taking objectives at the same rate or faster than Arcan City are.
The difficulty is that if you're here playing with Chaos, the objective taking is made very difficult with the Tinker and Pango. Both of them, even the Jakira actually, are really nice at defending his objectives. And all they want to do right now is delay the game so Symmetra will get back online. Similarly with Pango, trying to look up for those, couple of items so that he can also be quite relevant. And the Wraith King still not hitting his timings. Right now, Ahin is just delaying the game, making sure these heroes can come online, whereas Chaos is trying to put the pressure while simultaneously trying to give some space to this Morphling. That's the other issue, right? VT Fada cannot join into these engagements just quite yet. He needs those items first to be relevant. He does give him a bit more late game, and it does give him that potential, but the timings for Chaos are a bit all over the place, right? It's more of a transitional draft rather than Ahin, which all come online around the same time and can be very scary.
Yeah, it feels much more like the old 4 Protect 1, right? Where you have 4 heroes on Chaos that kind of just need to go in. They need to continue to make Chaos happen. They need to go and push objectives, get into these enemy spots to find the Tinker, delay his farm. A lot of this is going to be coming down to delaying the timing of the Wraith King and the Tinker as Kezu finds the Pangolier. Nice little AoE silence, and that damage. Massive right clicks from Dark Ascension. Kezu rips him absolutely to pieces.
Yeah, that's why Night Stalker gets picked now, and look, he's going for the Midas build. I love this build, actually. Now, some players like playing the utility Night Stalker. Kezu is a particularly greedy offlane player. He's going to go for a Night Stalker that can have some relevance in the late game, and I think that's the right choice, honestly. Considering the enemy team is going to try to delay it as much as possible, why? You get the Midas, and you outfarm them. He's leading in that worth chart right now, Kezu.
He is a big, beefy boy. And with this Aegis, the pressure is going to be close to insurmountable for Arcan City. They're going to smoke up. They do not have Relic or anything on Radix. No Reincarnation even leveled up either on that Wraith King. Difficult times ahead. All about buying time for that Tinker Blink. 700 gold out now as he bought the Soul Ring to transition into it. Look at the lines being drawn by Chaos, by the way. Matuma Man just drawing down mid, down top, through the jungle. Let's go, let's move, forward, aggressive. That's what we need to be playing as here. We have the advantage, we are ahead, we have map control, and we are closing the net around our opponents. As long as Morphling doesn't die mid, everything's fine.
And he doesn't die mid, because VT Faded found a little ice pocket here. Very difficult to engage on him, because there's still a tower, a TP spot for the rest of his team. Terrorize, hoping to catch VT Fade. Do not morph just yet, man. Be careful with that attribute shift. He still has the Aegis, though. VT. It's rooted. Okay, could still be in trouble. Turns into a Dark Willow. And do they want to keep on fighting this? KheZu. They do find the Dark Willow, but the area damage is not enough. Instead, going for an easier target on the Jakiro, who tries to TP. Apexu will not be so lucky. I will say, by the way, I just realized the Aghanims here for Morphling, just so you can turn into Dark Willow and do that little trick, is absurd, actually.
What, with the Shadow Realm?
Yeah. That is...
Get the Machine Gun Morphling going?
Yeah, Machine Gun Morphling. I mean, that's worth more than any other item you can buy here.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling Axe is seeing more and more play. The Earthshaker was something that... I remember when it came up the first time, we were casting Birmingham Groupstage. And Lacoste, myself, and Nomad were just like, hang on a second. What does Morphling Axe do again? Oh yeah, it's CDR, it's range, mana cost reduction, and there was an Earthshaker, and we're like, hang on a second. Does it increase rate? Yes, it does. Fissure and Enchant Totem, and then you can get Enchant Totem damage with your Morphling right clicks. Disgusting stuff. It is very strong against an Earthshaker. And here you have some good options too. Yeah, exactly. Like this game, if you turn into your, like if you take the Allies talent, turning into Night Stalker and having double AoE silence is disgusting. Having Spirit Siphon, having a second Heavenly Grace, you know, all of these abilities are really good with that Morphling.
Yeah. AoE Void, Guardian Angel with... Oh, you can't get Guardian Angel, sorry. AoE Void, yep, that still stands. You can get the Dark Willow I just mentioned. You can get... I mean, even a Jakiro Ice Path that's ridiculously long and with a much lower cooldown is very powerful, right? It's a very useful skill, honestly. When I first saw the Ags, I thought it was one of the most, like, underrated Ags. It was a carry Ags, right? So carry Ags either have to be super amazing or they're never picked up, right? But in this case, I think it's definitely worth it.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Does he get Tinker Ags? I feel is hard coded to the hero. I'm wondering if he gets the Ags upgrade.
No, you do get the Ags upgrade for the spell. You just don't get the... Like, he gets Ags upgrade for the spell. I'm pretty certain of that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because he gets Nimbus from Zeus, right? Like Dota is so weird, honestly.
Well, because like, Nimbus is hard coded to the lightning.
Tower has fallen.
Yeah. But I don't know if he gets DP Ags. This is one of the kind of things where I think you need Exorcism for that, right? Yeah, so it's hard coded to Exorcism. Like, all the Ags depends on what it's like, what skill it's related to.
If it's linked to a skill, or if it's linked to a hero, or it's just linked to Ags being purchased.
Yeah. Like, for example, the ult's Night Stalker, his Ags was actually linked to Darkness. So you wouldn't get the vision. It wasn't actually a passive. Man. Okay. There's an initiation, but Guardian Angel gets him some space. Even with Terrorize to disengage, KheZu keeps on fighting this. I don't think this is the right choice, KheZu. KheZu has to run away. The Tinker goes up to the high ground just to get those heat-seeking missiles out. Matoman still fighting this here. They killed Wraith King once, and they'll kill him again. Goodbye to Wraith King. Carried for offlaner for now, but you will lose Matumba Man in the process. Ahin still wanted to fight this. Oh, Snake's doing work, but so is the March of the Machines. Milan cannot get close to them. VT Faded finally joins the fray. Adaptive Strike doesn't quite kill the Morphling, as Milan being harassed by this annoying Jonathan fan. Milan just wants to get the shackles off. Oh, Jonathan fan the kill with a well-placed swashbuckle, but VT Faded copies him, and they have enough damage to stop that TP. So I think that's pretty even. Maybe even slight win for Chaos, just because they get the carry kill.
I mean, it's a win for the Dire team, right? They keep the Tinker alive. Wraith King and Pango, yes, they die, but you're able to stop the push in. Exorcism is used not for an objective, but for a team fight.
That's true.
Next to a shrine on the Dire side of the map. Shrine was used like very early on, but they kept that Tinker up and running. You know, Symmetrical just spamming out rockets and lasers, rockets and lasers. He has Blink Ether Lens, and he is going into that side device build that I mentioned, going for the hard lockdown against the DB, Omni, and the Morphling, which is heavily required. Oh, they're getting Omni Knight, Misery in trouble. Found by the Willow and the Jakiro, and hey, look, would you believe it? Symmetrical's Tinker arrives, says thank you very much for the kill, and maybe they go for more. But Tumberman is isolated. He's not exposed, though, has the backup of the fog, the terrain being used to his advantage. Goes to the shrine, and he will be perfectly fine.
We'll say Tumberman... Oh, sorry, the positioning there by Misery was... questionable. He was kind of toward there, trying to give his team some space, but just kind of give his body to the gods there. It didn't really work out. It's just a support that you're losing, so it's not that big a deal here. He's already got his Ether Lens, so he's essentially as farmed as he wants to be. You now want to let Milan take over the farming role, and I think this Shadow Shaman can be incredibly impactful. We already saw in that last team fight. Thanks to him, the Pango died essentially, because Pango decided to concentrate on him rather than escaping.
Milan has a tome, and I'm wondering, is he trying to hit level 11 to get the 20 XP talent? Because he didn't take it at 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
I have seen some supports save that tome though as well, in case like. So sometimes because if you take the tome and you die, it's a longer respawn time. So that's something we see commonly when you are when you don't particularly need it, right? Like that skill point. Why get that extra level and stay dead longer? You're also worth more gold as well. Oh no, he was waiting for the talent. I just spoke myself in a circle. Whatever.
I mean, your point is valid, but it's just he's waiting for the talent, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, he's gonna max Hex over the Shackles now, which is we're seeing this build much more. Shackles was valid before when the Aetherlens build was popular, but I think the zero cast point ability of Hex is just too strong,
especially against Tinker.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, even against Pango, actually. He swashbuckles in, Hex, and boom. You're actually going to stop him mid-swashbuckle.
Tinker going Force Staff, Blink Force, an item combination that we rarely see nowadays, but this used to be the core build. This used to be the build on Tinker. Yeah. With that double maneuverability, you split push the map much more safely, and you can get away from Kezu's AoE silence. Pablo can't.
Yeah, that was a great transition. Pablo's dead here. Goodbye. And will they find another support here? Pexu's just like, I just wanted to help my teammate. Why? Stop murdering me. Nothing he can do. Poor Pexu, man. He's Jakiro. He's a walking cannon fodder. Or I guess flying in this case.
Kezu is hungry on this Night Stalker.
He has been doing really well this game. He went for the straight BKB, which we've mentioned we're seeing much more often, right? Going for the second, third item BKB.
Morphling deciding to head into that Lincoln Sphere. Definitely fearing the Scythe of Ice coming out soon from the Tinker. What does Chaos do now? It is daytime for 2 more minutes. Roshan, fast spawn is now. This could be a nice little spot for them to be in, but they're making a play mid. Hex with the Serpent Wards. Terrorize will buy some time. Misery's there with a Heavenly Grace to pop onto someone, but Milan's going to take the full Curse Crown. And Yunasa fan with Pablo zoning Misery out now.
I think Misery might be in trouble. Well, there's no blink. Never mind. He went for the traditional build. It's been so long since I see everything going for the Midas Radiance, because the last matches it was always the blink build or the armored build. It's weird now seeing him with that mobility. Misery is totally fine. Morphling's getting some farm though. VT faded. He's getting closer and closer to that Lincolns, which is another build that this is actually not that common anymore. You used to rush the Lincolns all the time in the Morphling. It's the best way to stop the Scythe of Ice spam by the Tinker, though.
Yep, absolutely. So the move there from Chaos, what do? They get 2 kills, they move through jungle, they pressure tier 2, they force TPs, they force the convergence of Dire into mid lane, and they can't really go bot, so they have to come top, which is why Chaos are already setting up for this, you know, kind of breach of the top part of the map around Roshan. Top tier 1, most importantly, they're trying to defend that for as long as they can. You can just see Kezu hiding in the trees waiting for the backstab, because they know that the area of the map right now that Arkan City can play in is very limited. Maybe you'll get the Tinker play bottom half and then TP back up top, but the rest of the team, they can't show mid, they can't really do anything apart from smoke up towards top lane. So Chaos, they read this, they read it perfectly. It's so obvious. If I can see it, Chaos can see it, and Chaos are going to smoke and walk right into it. They're ready.
Okay, yeah, the smoke into the high ground. It's gonna work out for Chaos. Nice silence though, and Chaos seems with the Exorcism to be just holding on to it for now. Is just the Aghanim destroying the Willow for now. It's gonna be Pango and Willow done. Pexu being the sacrificial pawn here as always. Pexu accepting his fate as a cumbersome Jakiro. That's 3 dead though.
I mean, that was a 3v5, right? Arkan City walk with 3, Chaos already with 5. That's a great map read. That's Chaos knowing exactly what they need to do. They've set up for it. Like the push up into those 2 kills, into that mid tier 2. It's all a setup to try and get that cycle to come full around back again, like the Ouroboros, like the snake on their logo, eating its own tail. History repeats itself. Time comes around full circle. They get themselves Aegis and Cheese. Second Roshan of the game here, and Chaos in good stead now with Morphling top of net worth. Lincolns and Aegis in hand. Matuma Man with a Cheese, Ags Yule Scepter and the majority of his BKB ready. Could be putting a close to this game in the next 5 or 6 minutes.
With VT faded, getting a Scotty ready as the next item after the Lincoln's finally completed. Now the Aegis and the Lincolns is a bit difficult to kill. I mean, he's close to level 20, so we'll see if he does go for the more targeting allies. I think it's definitely a very useless skill this game. I concur with your thoughts there. VT Faded can tank all these Tinker spam. It's actually one of the better heroes to deal with it because he can constantly be morphing into strength and agility. Symmetrical's doing his best to defend these towers, and he is quick, he is hard to catch. They don't really have the hero to find him, but they're just not caring at this point. For a Tinker, if you really want to gank him, you have to wait to see if he TPs to a lane that's alone, and then try to finish him off that way. But instead of concentrating on the Tinker, they're going to find useful kills here. Oh no, double TP. Okay, Ahen is wise.
So it's always interesting to see how like little changes modify how people play heroes. Tinker, over the past year, he's had rearm changed a couple of times with time to rearm, mana cost, and all that stuff being nerfed and buffed. Because it used to be that you would go level 2 rearm and you wouldn't go 3 until you had a Hex or a Bloodstone, just because the mana cost is so hefty. But Symmetrical in this situation, because it got reduced from 1 sec to 0.75 at level 3, it's just efficient now to spam out, you know, multiple rockets, go back to base. As long as you are free and available to blink force back to safety, you can continually spam, regen at home, go to Fountain, come back into the fight, no big deal.
It's interesting that this enables older Tinker builds, right? Rather than the Tinker build that we've been seeing up until now, when Tinker was relevant, which is the Aghanim's Aetherlands build, right? Which is not the case here. Because of this new rearm, you're able to do this a bit more efficiently with the Sidestep Ice, the Force Staff and Blink Dagger can come back, and the mobility plus the March of the Machines becomes much more relevant. Also the talents, right? It seems like a joke, but the level 20, plus 10 damage for the March of the Machines is ridiculous at defending that high ground as well.
That is definitely a challenge for Chaos, breaking high ground, but they move on to the Wraith King.
Nice morph there. They have the silence as well. Everything's gone. And they kill him a second time. Terra has forced them away. VT faded, turns to the Wraith King again. Second Wraith Fire Blast. Good snakes. They catch him in the middle of it. They force them forward, but it's just not good enough. And Kez is ready to start pummeling the poor Chikiro again. Just caught out easily and killed off. Peksu unable to move this game as Chaos proceeds forward and tries to take a tier 3. They're disarmed here. Morphling not too lucky there, but he's going to turn into Wraith King to continue hitting this tower. He's actually loses Aegis. Okay, as Wraith King, so he's actually role-playing as the hero, gets that reincarnation up.
They need to finish that tier 3 and back out, it feels like. No buyback on Wraith King or Jakiro, but their respawn timers are low enough that it will force Chaos to retreat and try and take some shrines.
Look at this. The VT Fade now went for the more 4 allies and immediately turns into the Omnite. Double Heavenly Grace. How powerful is that? Even double Purification actually is pretty legit. There's a lot of healing and a fair amount of damage.
The armor have omniscience.
Tinker defended decently. The main reason they didn't lose a full lane there was Symmetrical, of course. Spamming out March and homing missiles, or heat-seeking missiles, and trying to take down the Pango top, and then get him with the Morph Stun. Kezu sets it up for yet another kill, and that's him dead for 50 seconds. No Pangolier for that next push. With Cheese and level 3 Exorcism on DP, it feels like it's coming soon.
Beauty of the eggs and the Death Prophet, honestly. It gives you tower push, gives you a bit of extra damage. It makes you useful and not so dependent on the Exorcism. He has not used the Exorcism at all these past few engagements because Matoman can now hold on to it thanks to the eggs. That's
the sickest thing, I feel.
What, the eggs?
Yeah, the eggs.
Yeah.
Down to like 0 move speed or whatever the hell it is.
For cheeks.
They purge for half a second.
I agree, it is pretty powerful. I like the sustain it provides for you as well, though, as a DP. I mean, look, he's just fighting at the blade mail without a care in the world. Usually here, you see a DP commit Exorcism just for this kill, but there's no need. Matoman knows. Suck off the Wraith King and murder him there. Easy. Matoman.
Kezu with a blink dagger, able to get in on top of that Wraith King very nicely. Milan with double bounty runes top, double bottom for Chaos as well, so quadruple bounty runes. And this is still the setup into a high ground shove. Breach the barracks. But they need to pick off that Tinker first. Symmetrical is holding buyback, but a kill on the Tinker definitely opens up the game to that buyback trading situation.
I'm quite happy with this, Matoman. I love that taunt. The fact that it ends with a rainbow is fantastic. And the blink dagger on Kezu, I agree. Being able to close down the distance easily, going for a nullifier next to make sure that Scythe of Ice can't be used on the Tinker. Oh, the Milan in the top lane. I think he's going to go down here. Uses the Hex and the Snakes, though, so it seems like he's waiting for his team to come and join in again, and they will in time. Texu, the first to die, as per usual, following tradition, but who's not expecting to die is Symmetrical, who gets chased down by an angry Night Stalker and finished off. They can't cancel his TP by Yonasan Fan. That doesn't really matter. They got the most important hero, Symmetrical. If he wants to defend this now, he's going to have to be forced to buy back.
Now they push top, they force Tinker buyback, they retreat, and then they look for a pick-off again on that Tinker. Force the game. Really is in their hands right now. What is the buyback status across the board, actually? Morphling doesn't, Pango doesn't. Oh, Yonasan Fan is 300 gold away from it. Would desperately love to have that buyback ready now.
This is the time to force the buyback for the Tinker. Like, you're either using buyback or Tinker or losing a lane or Rax. Perhaps two if Danger is good enough. I mean, Glyph gives you a bit more time. Nah, you can't stun out this woman, though. She's gonna eat up those Rax. Terrorize force, though. BT faded, forced back, and so is the Death Prophet. Is there a follow-up? Matoman still has the cheese, still has the Death Prophet Ghost. Yeah, you gotta let him go.
I find it super interesting that Chaos don't care about March of the Machines. You know, they have BKB sure on the Night Stalker, but they're not buying a pipe or anything. They've got BKB on DP. Morphling is going for one later on, but this Omni Knight has just been able to, you know, heal people up, keep the sustain going. Death Prophet doesn't really mind with Spirit Siphons going. She can walk straight through that March.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not haven't been too concerned with the Symmetrical, honestly, up until now. If he gets in a position where he can actually have a pretty fair impact, that's the ag for Yonasan Fan, by the way, then he is dealing with a Night Stalker who just runs at him. If the Night Stalker doesn't run at him, because it's happened a couple times, he's not like a Storm or like a Zeus, right? It's not the easiest thing, he has to get into proper position, then you're not having enough impact in the team fight to actually warrant this pick. So Tinker has just been in a difficult position. I mean, there's a reason why this hero is not so popular anymore.
Yeah, he does have the 150 GPM talent, which definitely alleviates some of his issues. He's able to accelerate into that big item a little faster and potentially not suck as much resources away from the rest of his team as he usually does. He is trying to get that Scythe of Ice and still hold buyback, so he's still another 900 gold away from it, but he's closing in very quickly.
I think now with the Blink Dagger, though, things become much harder for the Tinker. Blink Dagger or Kezu. Because until now, you know, like I mentioned, Kezu needed to get closer. And he had a difficulty. There was a Pango and Jakira even with the Ice Path, but with the Blink, that becomes easy. All you need to know is guess where the Tinker is, probably with the positioning of the Heat-Seeking Missiles, blink onto him, and there you got it. Silence, and he's done. With the Nullifier, that'll be the complete cancellation of the Tinker as well. Because he won't be able to blink away before you can hit him once, or even Scythe of Ice you, or Force Staff himself, nothing.
Or if he buys a Ghost Scepter.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm looking at Matuma Man, and I said they don't care about March, and sure enough, they haven't bought Pipe. They don't care about it that much.
BKB, though.
But Matu's going for Heart to try and heal back up after tanking some of the March damage, and just keep...
It's a good way to deal with the Tinker. When he clears your lane, you know, you take a bit of damage, but you just withstand the March, like you mentioned. Heal back up, wait for the second lane to come by.
So big items right now, Arkan City, BKB's ready on Wraith King.
Okay.
That's prime time. We nearly have BKB on Yonasan Fan, needs a little more farm to actually finish it off. And Scythe of Ice with buyback is 500 gold away for Tinker. Very near it. He's faking out TP's top, realizing that Chaos are trying to now cut the wave and shove up onto that high ground top lane. And it's time to defend your base, Arkan City.
Okay, VT faded, starting to go for the tier 3s. What has he turned into? Yeah, the classic Omnite. I mean, you don't need dags when you have this hero. It's just fantastic. Keep the Heavenly Grace up. You are God for a while. Turn into Morphling again and hit those towers. Double Heavenly Grace. It's actually perpetual Heavenly Grace to Morphling if they want to. it is yuck. Nullifier almost done in Kezu. He's pretty close to it, just 700 gold away. Maybe they would wait for that before the next team fight. I think the Nullifier can be really impactful here.
Man, this is the hardest thing about playing Tinker right now. Symmetrical spending like 20-30% of his time in Fountain, waiting for a place he can TP to. Because he can't play a lane. Like, he has to play a lane where he knows there's no chance of a Night Stalker being there.
Yep. Or even if a Morphling, now that he has more mobility and catch power, well, he can always waveform into you as well and kill you. Hell, even Milan, he has a Blink Dagger as well, BKB. Well, we haven't really talked to the Xiao, but look at his items. He's quite farmed. With Etherman's ready as well, you have a chance to catch a Tinker yourself and just give some time for the rest of your team to come in. Heart completed on Matoma Man. Nullifier is up, or should be up once Night Stalker buys that helm. I don't know if that BKB on Wraith King means so much now. BKB on Pango though as well. Still susceptible to the Death Prophet.
It's time for Chaos to end the game.
Yeah. Well, last Roshan come with, by the way. Those. Oh yeah. Did that Roshan not come with the Ags? Yeah, there's Ags from Lot. There it is. So that's Mass Serpent Ward with even more damage. There we go. BT Faded comes in. He has the Aegis, quite confident. Zdenek as well to give him side of resistance. Milan saved by the Guard Angel and the BKB. Pexu dies first. And Kezu is just chasing after Pablo. First the supports, now the cores. They've been left behind. Rajik's alone. Waits the reincarnation. They shackle poor Yunasum Fan alone. And now Yunasum Fan's gone. Rajik's even with a BKB is tough with a Scotty. He's slow and they can just catch him. They're gonna ignore him actually. They don't care. Exorcism is destroying those racks. Now Milan sacrifices himself. Matoman goes for the kill on the Tinker. Can't quite find him. Ice best to save him. VT Faded. Blows up Rajik's. And all they have to do now is take the tier 4s. They have no buybacks on either of these heroes. Take those tier 4s quickly. Perhaps the death of Night Stalker would slow him down. He eats the cheese. There's not even that much health because of the urn, but it doesn't matter. It's just enough to survive. The GG will be called out. Chaos takes this game and forces a potential tiebreaker situation in the European region. Now, 27-11 the score, 32k difference. Chaos, I think, drafted this pretty well. That Tinker got cancelled by a Night Stalker, and overall, honestly, really well played by Chaos. This is the kind of Chaos I was expecting to see coming in the qualifiers.